Very good evening, friends. This side Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. Standing today on 12th January 2021, I am going to be shooting a pretty interesting video about a topic which is the bid-ask spread of the government bonds. I'm a strong believer of the fact that till 2016-17, reading business articles was about knowledge. And after 2016-17, reading business article is about leaking knowledge. And I think we are leaking knowledge at a much faster pace than I anticipated. And to be honest, nowadays, whenever I read business newspaper, I read with an intention that what wrong they are writing. And every time I find articles, I am always amazed, guys, this is really brilliant. Like, I just got an article that India G6 amongst the most developed among emerging market, Reserve Bank of India. I have commented several times on Reserve Bank of India about their circulars and all, and many a times, according to these statistics, first of all, what is bid-ask spread? To be honest, every country of the world is having two type of indexes. One is known as BMK, which is known as benchmark curve, like we have showed Indian benchmark curve in our last video, and one is known as OIS curve, which is known as overnight index swap curve. Example: US dollar, euro, Swiss franc, Sing dollar, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Almost every currency of the globe is having benchmark and OIS curve. Benchmark curve is actually a curve which is dedicated to the government borrowings, and OIS curve is a curve which is dedicated to liquidity in the system. It is said that if any country is having one curve, which is benchmark and OIS curve, or I put alternatively, if both curve are synchronized, then nothing like it. This is one of the best combination we have in the world, but unfortunately, even in case of US dollar, it is not possible. But having said that, US dollar benchmark curve, which is BMK curve, and also US dollar OIS curve is amongst most liquid curves we have in the world. Of course, Euro and GBP is giving very stiff competition to US dollar in that regards. In the benchmark curve, there are 5 columns, and we have showed this. Number one is definitely the bid yield, ask yield, the swap spread, asset swap spread, or Z spread. I know that in majority of the MBA institutions and all, these are not being taught. But is the difference between bid and ask spread can be considered as a source of success? I think Reserve Bank thinks so. The Indian yield curve is amongst the flattest, reflecting the lower term premium across term structure. The yield curve stretches up to 40 years, feature not observed in most of the emerging markets. Indian bid-ask spread is among the lowest among Asia peers, reflecting a liquid market which do not materially increase for last transaction. Absolutely, because every intelligent person understand that Indian benchmark curve is not using as a discount curve. In any of the transactions in India, Indian benchmark curve is not using a discount curve. And I think they do not know this about that Indian benchmark curve is the most illiquid curve which we have. Most illiquid curve which we have. And guys, by the way, I got the bid-ask spread. Let me tell you that all the government securities are divided into two parts, which is on the run and off the run. So on the run securities are those which are still active and liquid, and off the run securities are those who are not liquid in nature. But the data is presented only for on the run. People are smart. They never take off the run security because they know if they take off the run, what would be the result. South Korea having bid-ask spread of 40 bips, India 59 bips, China more than 110 bips. Singapore, sorry, South Korea zero point 0.4 bips, India 0.59 bips, China 1 bips, Singapore 2, and slowly Vietnam 5 bips. Hey guys, when I look at my Reuters, I see the benchmark curve which is IN BMK. I think this data is not correct because it is more than 1 bips. And more importantly, how can the bid-ask spread can be treated as a source of liquidity when the yield curve is not using as a discount curve? That is what I'm thinking, that whenever a young guy is reading these newspapers, what kind of knowledge are they getting? They are really getting the knowledge which really do not exist. Like, people are here to push 1 plus 1 equal to 99. 1 plus 1, 99. Another issue is the government turnover ratio. What is government turnover ratio? Turnover ratio is the ratio of the total outstanding stock of bonds, which is lowest in case of India. Hey guys, Japanese is the right example in that regards when it comes to turnover ratio. Why? I agree that Japan is having a debt to GDP ratio of more than 200%. Some research claim they have more than 250%, although it is difficult to verify which research is correct and which is wrong. But having said that, majority of the Japanese government bonds is borrowed by the local people and the local corporate and the local financial institutions. So what I wanted to say is that government is not the only borrower in that sense. The right feature of turnover ratio is not the total outstanding bonds. The right feature of turnover ratio is the total outstanding bonds held up by the locals in that country, and compare it with the foreigners in that country, which includes the foreign institutional investors and all. Recently, we saw that foreign institutional investors sold, I think, 14 billion something of Indian bonds, which is highest since 2009. Here I need to check once again, but they sold 14 billion worth of bond. Is that data is somewhere? I don't know, but somehow I feel that the research which is coming in the public domain, I don't know what should I say, but this research is clearly baseless research. All financial fundamentals are haywire. Only to prove that this research is good, people can even prove 1 plus 1 equal to 99. Let it be honest. And more importantly, another top feature of Indian business newspaper research is that they only take the data which is relevant. They never take the holistic data. Example, when we talk about the government bonds, we are supposed to take on the run and off the run both. And more importantly, government bonds or benchmark curves are assessed with swap spread, asset swap. Example, he himself that the government is having 40-year curve. I agree. I can see on Reuters that it's a 40-year curve. I agree. But guys, what is the Z spread? That's more important. If the Z spread of India, okay, let me ask a GK question to you. If the Z spread of Indian 10-year curve is 1%, assuming if the Z spread of Indian 10-year curve is 1%, while in case of Hong Kong it is 40 bips, what does that mean? That's more important. Assessment should be done holistically. Assessment should be done in such a way that all parameters should be included in that assessment. It should not happen that you only do assessment, from a bird eye view, and end result you all understand. Henceforth, we need to appreciate that there are 5 important parameters while assessing a benchmark curve. Number 1 is the bid yield, ask yield, swap spread, Z spread, and asset swap spread. These are the 5 top parameters to assess any government yield curve. Now, it could be any yield curve. US dollar, Euro, GBP, Swiss franc, Japanese yen, Singapore, India, Hong Kong, Thailand, anyone. By the way, Let me have another question. How many benchmark curves we have across the globe? That's a good question. Check it with Alexa. You will also not get an answer. This is Rahul from Trishi Consulting Group. And you know my personal WhatsApp number 981849924297. But I consider myself lucky that I know which data is right and which data is wrong. I understand the difference between flaw and flawless data. Have a great time ahead. Thank you, guys.